Imagine opening Google Maps, and your country suddenly has a new name. That's exactly what happened when people searched for the Czech Republic and saw Czechia instead. Did Google actually rename a country? In this video, we break down two real cases where country names changed, one after decades of political conflict and another that felt like it was switched overnight by tech platforms. Let's get into why this happened and how powerful names really are. Our first story begins in the Balkans. For nearly 3 decades, a small country wrestled with a big issue: its name. When the Republic of Macedonia declared independence from Yugoslavia in 1991, it immediately clashed with its southern neighbor, Greece. The issue? Greece has a northern region also called Macedonia, deeply connected to the legacy of Alexander the Great. To Greeks, the name Macedonia suggested territorial ambitions and a claim over their cultural heritage. As a result, Greece pushed back hard, blocking the new country's entry into NATO and the European Union. Under international pressure, Macedonia had to adopt the awkward, temporary title, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, or FYROM, in global organizations like the UN, the Olympics, and Eurovision. But for Macedonians, this wasn't just a matter of diplomacy. It was deeply personal. The name Macedonia was tied to their history, identity, and national pride. Imagine being told that the name on your passport, the one your parents and grandparents used, suddenly didn't belong to you. For years, the country operated in limbo, officially using a placeholder name while citizens insisted on calling their homeland what they always had, Macedonia. UN-mediated negotiations dragged on for years, punctuated by protests on both sides. In Macedonia, school books, monuments, and even airport names became symbols of resistance. Meanwhile, in Greece, mass rallies filled the streets, with citizens demanding that their government hold the line. Finally, in 2018, a breakthrough. Macedonian Prime Minister Zoran Zaev and Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras signed the Prespa Agreement, named after the lake where the deal was struck. Under the agreement, Macedonia would officially become North Macedonia, clearly distinguishing it from the Greek region. In return, Greece agreed to lift its vetoes and support the country's integration into NATO and the EU. The compromise sparked controversy. Many Macedonians viewed it as a loss, and nationalist groups called it a betrayal. A referendum on the agreement was held, but failed due to low turnout, although a majority of those who voted supported it. Despite the political backlash, the Macedonian parliament approved the name change in January 2019. But here's the key point. While the country's name changed, the identity of its people did not. The deal affirmed that the official language would remain Macedonian, and citizens would still be known as Macedonians in the cultural and ethnic sense. Only the geopolitical name was adjusted. Shortly after, North Macedonia became the 30th member of NATO, and its EU prospects significantly improved. The agreement was praised as a rare diplomatic win in a region often defined by long-standing disputes. Both prime ministers were even nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for resolving one of Europe's most stubborn conflicts through negotiation, not violence. In the end, North Macedonia gained more than it gave up: international recognition, a clear path to global alliances, and most importantly, the right to continue calling themselves who they've always been. Now, let's go to Central Europe, where a country's name change sparked global confusion, not because of politics, but because of tech. The Czech Republic has been known by that name since it split from Czechoslovakia in 1993. But over the years, there were calls to adopt a shorter name, something easier to use, like France instead of French Republic. In 2016, the Czech government officially approved Czechia as the country's short-form name in English. The change wasn't legal or radical. The official name is still the Czech Republic, but Czechia was meant to be more practical for branding, sports, and international use. Some European languages were already using a short version, so it made sense. Still, many Czechs didn't like it. Some said it sounded too much like Chechnya, while others simply preferred the name they were used to. Most citizens kept calling it the Czech Republic, and the switch seemed slow to catch on. Until Google stepped in. In late 2016, platforms like Google Maps and Wikipedia quietly began using Czechia in place of the Czech Republic. Suddenly, millions of people saw the new name online, without any context. It felt like the change had come from the internet, not the government. That's when confusion exploded. Even the Czech Prime Minister at the time publicly dismissed the name as a bad idea. But by then, it was out there. The United Nations, the EU, Google, Apple, all started using Czechia. It slowly became the international norm, especially in drop-downs maps and data systems. So no, Google didn't officially rename the country, but it helped make the new name unavoidable. And in a digital world, that can be just as powerful. So, did Google rename a country? Not exactly, but it helped push Czechia into the spotlight. Fast. North Macedonia's name came through diplomacy. Czechia's caught on through search engines and maps. In both cases, one thing is clear: names matter. And in today's world, tech can shape how we see a nation.